All right, welcome everybody. And we've just had a little offline chat, but welcome everybody officially to the OV All Stars Jumpstart webinar number 3. This one is just awesome. I'm so excited about this whole webinar. We actually, we had one coach that was going to teach it, and then we added a second coach, and I think we might have a third one hopping on as well, and me, of course. And I'm just so excited to get the content. We're going to learn about doing keyword research for PPC. We're going to learn about doing market research and keyword research for mobile. We're going to learn about doing keyword research and scraping targets for CPV. And you're going to get all sorts of gold nuggets. I know it. I know I'm even going to learn something on this because Russell and Mason, who are our teachers today, our official teachers today, are just simply amazing. Guys, you are in for a treat. The questions queue is open. I'm in there answering questions by text. If you ask a question in there, I will let Russell know if he's talking, and I'll let Mason know if he's the one presenting, if it needs to be answered. Otherwise, I'll answer it for you, quietly on the side. So feel free to, post your comments, post your questions, and enjoy this. This is going to be awesome. Russell, it's all yours.
Thank you. Does everybody have good audio on me, and can you see my screen?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. No, don't do that right now. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about market and keyword research. This is, for whatever reason, this has became, one of my, one of my pets in the IM world. I mean, one of my favorite things to do, probably because with every project that I've done as a consultant, I've had to conduct this type of research up front. So, knowing the tools of the trade and, learning to do it by doing it, hundreds of times has made me, somewhat, an expert at it. So today I'm going to be sharing kind of my take on this and what I do with it. And I call it keyword research and competitive analysis, but sometimes it's called market research as well. So I'll show you what I got. First thing, I was talking about those tools of the trade, and a lot of the tools that I use, and I'll actually go as far as to say 90% of the tools I use are actually free tools. You don't have to invest a ton of money in order to be good at this or to learn how to do this, and that's always great when you're starting out. This is just, the way I learned it. Some of these tools inside of Google have, evolved a little bit. Some of them aren't there anymore, but understand that what I'm giving you is the most up-to-date, tools that are available for free to use. And then I'll talk about a few of the paid ones as well. So this is going to be an interactive, type, webinar again, where you'll see me switching back and forth between the slides and between, different tabs. I have a ton of them pulled up so I can show you absolutely everything. So the first free tool, and this may not sound, this may sound like, yeah, well, duh, everybody has this, but if you don't have a Gmail account, open one up, because Gmail is just the start of, the productivity that you get with the organization inside of a Gmail account. You also get all these other cool things, Google Docs being one that I've used extensively for the past like 4 to 5 years, and I have all my stuff stored in there. So I'm going to get out of this for a second and kind of go over here and show you that I've opened a Google Doc right here. And this Google Doc, and today, for the purpose of this call, we're going to be talking about the keyword set around, and our seed keyword is going to be payday loans. That's what I kind of wanted to talk about today. It's a topic that's pretty hot right now. It's something that people use search traffic for. It's something that you can do pay-per-call with, something that you can do mobile offers around. So I thought that it would be a good all-around offer type to talk about, to give you a great example. So basically what I'll do is every time I get started with a keyword research product or project, I'll just, make a title for it, payday loans. And if I had a client name, I would put it, at the top. And I just do it like this. Keyword research, and, might put a line between it, payday loans. And then what I'll do is I'll start with my seed keyword, and sometimes you'll hear it called a seed keyword because it's the basic, it's like the mothership, with all the ships underneath it. So, you have payday loan. I mean, or payday loans, it could be either way. So that's a seed keyword. Now, if any of this seems pretty fast, obviously you have the Q&A here, which is great. The other thing, though, to keep in mind is that back to this, you can go back, before it says free tools here, and check out my series. I did an entire series of videos on keyword research and competitive analysis, and they're actually in the forum. And I wanted to show you where this was, just so you kind of knew how to get to it. It's in the forums. It's under the local offline marketing section inside of the forum, and you'll see this whole series of things I did in here: keyword research videos, part 1 through 4, and then you'll see competitive analysis videos. Or actually, there's 5 keyword research, and then there are an additional 4 for competitive analysis. So this is a great resource to go back into, where you can see me doing things step by step in a controlled environment. So you can also review those. I just wanted to throw that in there kind of quick. So back to our payday loans. What I would do to start with is I would use just the regular, believe it or not, I would just use regular old Google search. Question would be, well, why would you use something so basic as Google search? Well, Google, for people that really know and understand how to use it, and I'm going to teach you that today, Google gives us a lot of hints about what is, okay? Because Google is the #1 search engine in the world. I don't know percentages or anything, but it's obvious that there is no comparison, as far as I'm concerned, between Google and Bing, or Google and Yahoo especially. Google is it, and that's where the largest portion of the lion's share of the search traffic and display traffic is on Google. So it gives us a lot of insights and hints, okay? So starting out, I'm going to start with that keyword, payday. And you see as I'm typing it in that it starts to populate all this stuff before I've even finished this. This is the Google Suggest is what this is called. And as I start to put this in, it gives me ideas, actually. It says, okay, you're starting to type in something that looks like this, payday loan or payday loan. So it tells me that payday loans, maybe look what I'm looking for. It tells me that payday loans online, maybe what I'm looking for. So right away, I'm going to go back into my keyword list here, and I'm going to do this just like this. So I have payday loan, payday loans, and payday loans online, okay? And that's just from Suggest, okay? I'm not going to do any geo-targeting quite yet. We'll talk about how you do that here in a few minutes with one of the free Google tools, but I'm not going to pick where I'm at, which is south of Lansing in Jackson, Michigan. I'm not going to pick that, but what I am going to do is just type in payday loans, and I'm going to press enter, which is go, and these are the search results, okay? And you're used to seeing these search results. You have your local search right here, and you have the box down here. You have your paid ads up here, and then, of course, over here. And you can see this is a pretty heavily populated type of search. Now, what I like to do is go to the bottom, and I like to check this out. Searches related to payday loans. Now, understand that this isn't just something that's in beta. Google has been serving these up for a number of years. They understand when somebody is searching for a certain keyword that they also may be searching for these different things. So one of the hottest places where I get my keywords is right here inside of Google, right down here. So we already did the online one, but then there's this one, payday loans, direct lender, and I like that one. So I may go back and do this and go payday loans, direct lender, okay? And what else do we got down here? Payday loan reviews, CashNet USA, sounds like a company. Check into cash, Speedy Cash. Those all sound like companies and stuff, so I'm not going to take those. If I go back here, since I like that keyword, payday loans online, and we'll move forward once I do this, I just want to show you the power of this. If I put in online, see, now it gives me a subset inside of the Google Suggest even of that. Payday loans online, but then it adds direct lenders. And now you're getting into what they call a long tail keyword research or search. And the long tail is not so good for a ton of traffic. That's not what it's for. But what it can be is a buyer's keyword. Okay. When people search for something long tail, more often than not, they've already done research on that product. They know the exact string of search terms to put together to get to the site they want to get to. And usually they're ready to buy at that point. Okay. So those long tail keywords, although they're not going to get you the most traffic, like for instance, we know that payday loan and payday loans are going to cost us a ton per click. And if we had an unlimited budget, we could get 1 million clicks out of it. We know that already. But we want to find the areas of the market that are soft, where we can afford to get the clicks, not pay $15 a click, and be somewhere more like 25 to 50, 75 cents for a click, and be able to convert and get the the results we're looking for.
And
so
Russell,
you can see,
Russell, that's
yes.
Such a good point. I just want to tie this in and kind of and share something real quick. And the other thing is that you'll see, and if you guys have been in the forum and saw the affiliate pong that Dustin put together, we're coming up with different pitch angles for different things. And if you saw the PPV pitch angles, if you don't know what pay-per-view is, we're going to talk a little bit about scraping targets for it today, but you should definitely look in the forum if you don't know what it is. But one thing that these keywords help you do is, and you'll see when Mason goes through this, when you're scraping URLs for PPV, if you've got these long tail keywords, you have a pitch, a pitch angle to go with. For example, just looking at Russell's screen right now, payday loans online, no credit check, you know that someone's searching that. If you're scraping the targets for that, you know that those people are specifically looking for no credit check, and you can put that on your pop-up lander. And if that didn't make any sense to you, come back to this recording after you read a little bit about PPV, after you learn a little bit more about it, after you watch Mason's portion. But I just wanted to point that out, is that this can really help you with your pitch angle. And the other thing I wanted to share real quick before Russell moves on is there's a site I like to use called ubersuggest.org. It's UBER suggest.org. And it'll actually scrape Google Suggest for you. So do you know about that one, Russell?
No, I never heard of that before. I always I'm lazy. I just go to Google.
Yeah, no, it's lazier because you just kind of type it once and it gives you all that stuff. It'll go letter by letter. If you've ever pulled up, payday loans and then type A in and see what comes up, and then type B in and then see what comes up. That's what it does for you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna use that from now on.
So yeah.
Thanks for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so true about angles. Many times that's what I do, is I look when I start coming up with ads, because I read a lot of ads, not just for my own things that I understand, but sometimes I have clients in areas that I don't understand anything about, and I've never put together an ad for a consumer attorney. I mean, I have now, but never had before. So, coming up with angles many times, it's a play on words with, like Leanne said, of these long tail keywords. Those really, aid you to do that. So basically, I just want to, finish taking some of these into my little keyword list here. And online, we have direct lenders, and let's see, actually there we already had that. And then let's do payday loans online, and what was it? Direct lenders. I'm only going to do one more. We'll do payday loans online. I have quite a nice little, seed list here at this point. So basically, let's just take no credit check, because that's a nice angle too. No credit check. Okay, so I have this nice little, seed list, I would call it now. And really having this little seed list is going to help me in a number of ways. So going back to the presentation, we looked at, we've been using Google Docs to keep our results. We took a look at Google search. Now we're going to go on to a tool that, you know, has definitely seen some evolution. It's called Google Trends. And I don't know how many of you have heard of Google Trends before, but it kind of looks like this, and it'll tell you, you know, the types of things that people are searching for, like hot searches, and it does it by date, which is pretty cool. It never really used to do this. But what I can also do is I can go to the top, just like a Google search, and I can type in payday loans, okay? And I can press search, and it will do this. It's really quite nifty. Okay, so it's working. Okay, so you can actually see over time, starting way back in '04, you know, what the search volume was for payday loans. And you can see over time, obviously, as the economy has dropped, you know, this is cash flows became tight. And you can see that the volume has just, you know, risen to probably, I don't want to say historical heights, but yeah, pretty large. And the thing that's so cool about this for me is, you know, you wouldn't really know where to target. The United States is a big place, and if you're in another country, it's probably a big place too. I mean, Canada is a big country. You know, Africa, UK. I mean, you have many different areas in these places, and what's important to know is where to target geographically speaking. So if I click on the United States, let's say I want to do a little bit of drilling down to find out what are the areas that people are really looking for this type of stuff, because at this point I can take that set of seed keywords and I can actually put these modifiers at the end of it. You know, I have Texas, I have Louisiana, Nevada, Missouri, Alabama, Mississippi, and Kansas, and I can see that those are pretty hot areas for these type of searches. So now the next question would be, what if I wanted to see the metropolitan area? Now I'm even more broken down. We're not just talking about Louisiana, we're talking about Baton Rouge. We're not just talking about Nevada, we're talking about Las Vegas. We're not talking about Texas, we're talking about San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston, okay? So if I want to convert, you know, if I'm doing a paper call offer, or if I'm doing, you know, a traditional desktop CPA offer, and I want to target, I'm going to target, you know, Jackson, Mississippi, Kansas City, Missouri, Houston, Texas, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And those are the metropolitan areas. If I want to even drill down deeper, Google lets me do that too. I go to city. Now I'm really talking. Check that out. I have all the top information that I need, and I can actually take this and I can scroll down and I can keep going. Atlanta, Phoenix, Chicago, Charlotte, Denver. So as long as the offer that I'm running doesn't have anything against those cities, you can bet that I'm going to put those at the end of my search. Now, another cool thing that this tool does is it does this too. It'll show you the top related searches, and then it'll also show you rising searches as well. So this, once again, is just an awesome example of the information for free that you can get just by going to Google. Okay.
So Russell, let me ask you a question real quick that's in the queue here.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really relevant to what you're looking at now with the related searches. Would you use the keyword phrase in both singular and plural? And how would you select which one to run, let's say, if you're doing a pay-per-click campaign?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, yes, I always use the singular and the plural of any keyword phrase that I'm going after. Now, the way that I would find that out, it's funny that you asked that, because the very next thing I'm going to is the new Google keyword tool, and that's where I'm going to separate what I'm running. And I also use some paid keyword tools to do that. So actually, I'm just going to say hold off for a second, because I'll answer that question right within, you know, the frame of what I'm doing right now. So let me move to that. If there are no more questions on this tool, you know, obviously you can use it, and I really recommend that you do. But you'll see that the last thing on my free tools is, before I go to the paid tools, is the Google Keyword Planner. Now, the Google Keyword Planner, I'm going to tell you, you have to have an AdWords account to use it. It's not like the old, they don't even have it anymore. The Google External Keywords tool, I think everybody misses that a little bit. But this was kind of the first time, and I did it for the purpose of this course. I started looking through this keyword planner because I have several AdWords accounts of my own, and then, that I use for different, consulting clients. So I started looking through this, and it really is a pretty cool little tool. And this is how I find out what I'm going to do. So this allows me to do a few different things. Okay, within AdWords, I go to Tools and Analysis, and then in the drop down, I pick Keyword Planner, and that's how I got to this screen. But understand, you have to have an AdWords account to get to this. So you're better off just to set one up, have it, so you can at least and you're going to run some search traffic anyway. And I always, regardless, I always suggest using Google to do that because they have the volume and the quality is there, in my opinion, of course. So I can do a number of things here. I can search for keyword and ad group ideas. I like that. Let's take a look at that for a minute. Now, you asked me, how would I know whether I would run something or not? And the only way I would know is to go back to my little document here, which was actually right here. And I'm going to select my keywords, my seed keywords. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy them. Okay. And now I'm going to go back into my box here where it says your product or service. And I'm going to paste these just to see what this comes up with. Now, it also allows me to add a landing page. I could add my own landing page, or I could add somebody else's that's a competitor. I could add my product and category. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to target the U.S. I don't want to use all languages. I think I would rather just use English for this for now. I mean, I guess I could use Spanish too, but for the purpose of this, I use English. And we're going to go Google, not any of the partners, because we're not talking about display. We're talking about search. I'm not going to use any negative keywords for now. And I'm just going to press Get Ideas to see what this handy dandy tool does now. Okay. So now I start to get a more complete picture of the kinds of ad groups that I'm going to get. Okay. And this tells me a number of things. Okay. So it starts to tell me these are keywords like the seed keywords you put in, okay? And it starts with an ad group with 54 keywords called loan lenders, okay? And with loan lenders, I can see that I have an average monthly searches around 33,520. So like I said, the search volume's there. It's maybe kind of daunting at first because look at the competition, it's high, and your average cost per click, it says is $5.14. So as you can see, that may not be the first place that I want to target. Now, what about this one right here? It says no fax payday loans, and it's a whole group of 18 keywords based around that. And there's only 4,290. It must be useful still because it's got a high competition, and it is slightly more. Okay, so I wade through these until I find something that I think is a good keyword set to go after. Now, I have another page here that I can go to as well.
Also, real fast here.
Yeah,
Russell, I just wanted to chime in here for a second. So when it says something like no fax payday loan, what that also have to think about this in terms of offers. If you have an offer in mind that you're going to promote or something like that. I mean, obviously he's just collecting them right now, but when you pick an offer to promote or something, you want to check and see, is this an offer where they have to fax in their information or not? Because the people that are not looking for that, that are looking to not fax anything in aren't going to convert if you know what I mean?
Yep, you're totally correct on that because I ran a pay-per-call offer on that, and I'd have to look at my stats again, but I think that was a factor actually. So Mason's right. You have to think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is a very good point. So, I mean, looking at that keyword, I mean, obviously, if you're targeting that, if people don't want to fax stuff in, they're not going to fax it in. They're not going to convert. So that may be very well a good keyword set to go after. So this is kind of how I find out, though, back to the question, which was, how do you know which ones to target? And what I'll do is I'm going to go back to the first page, and let's just take that one that we were talking about. No Facts Payday. And let's just pick that one, and it'll show you the ad group. And there it is. It says No Facts Payday Loans is one of the keywords. Payday loans, no faxing, and you can see all of them. They're pretty expensive keywords for what it's worth. Now, understand this too. Just because it says that this is what they go for, when I set mine, what I do as a general rule, like I was running a pay-per-call offer, and the conversion was, the CPA payout was $6. I think it was like $6.50 for a 90-second phone call. Okay, so kind of my steadfast rule on that is I'll bid about a quarter, 25% of what that is. So all I do is just take the calculator out, and if it's 650, I divide it by 4 to come up with a number, which is what, like, it's a little over $1.50, because that would be 6. Maybe like $1.60, $1.65. So that's what I bid on my keywords. Now, does that mean I'm going to get first position? Probably not. But when you start getting into a keyword set like payday loans, it doesn't matter if you're first on the ads. As a matter of fact, it may behoove you to be like third or fourth. And I've been as low as sixth and still been getting conversions all day long. So don't feel like because something says the average CPC is $6.62 to be afraid of it. Still bid 50 cents, still bid 75 cents. If the quality of your landing page is there, like if it's a 7 out of 10 at least, you're not going to have a problem paying 75 cents for a click and getting in the top 6 places. So I wanted to kind of give that as well. Now, this is, once again, this is a great tool. It gives me a lot of ideas for keywords. I would take these. I could export all of them if I wanted to. And then once I export all of these ad groups, I can put them right into my AdWords account, which is convenient. And they already, I think they're going to do pretty well because Google's already taken the liberty of organizing my keywords for me. So it's really cut out like 90% of my work. I don't have to even import them if I don't want to into my master keyword list back in Docs. I can just use this. So it's pretty cool for that reason. Now, the question that you asked was, how do I know? And that kind of brings us up to this. I use a couple of paid tools, okay? And I have in the past used a couple of them. The one that I use more often than not, like this is like the paid tool that I paid $97 for back when I first got into internet marketing, must have been like 2007 or 2008 even. It was Market Samurai. And when I got into that, let's see here. There's Keyword Spy. There's Market Samurai. And you can go to this. It's marketsamurai.com. And unfortunately, I don't have a version of it running on this computer. I fried my Mac with a glass of iced tea a couple weeks back. So it's a paperweight now, unfortunately. But I had Market Samurai on there, so I have to download it. But what I'm trying to tell you is the reason or the way that I'll find out which keywords to use, I'll input them in the Market Samurai, and I'll just have them tell me, the monthly searches, the competition, kind of the same things that the free tool was telling me. It just organized it a little better so I can see it, and then I can kind of whittle the list down, based on how hard it's going to be, how expensive it's going to be, and so on and so forth. So I look at those numbers and inside of Market Samurai, and it tells me, exactly which ones I should be going for.
So, Russell, on that topic, because whenever we're talking about numbers, inevitably there's going to be a question of what number is enough in terms of how many searches there are for something. What number is enough for this? If you're running PPC, what number of searches, local monthly searches or global searches are enough if you're doing PPV, if you're doing this and that? And we actually have a question in the queue related to that, which is, are those monthly searches exact match? And I posted about that in the forum, and we had a little discussion about it. And we figured that it was exact match, but mixing in mobile, right? And this new tool
it doesn't mix in mobile.
Oh, it doesn't. So the old one did then.
Yeah, the old. See, what happened? What had happened with this when we start talking about this tool back here, this new Google planning tool? When they did away with the old Google external keyword tool inside of AdWords, what happened was they stopped giving you the ability to target just desktop or just mobile. And now, because they have enhanced for pay-per-call, what they've done is they've combined everything together into one. So like this one right here says 33,520 average monthly. Well, that's across all devices, actually. That's exact match across all devices, because they don't allow for you to break it out, because it used to be broad match, right? When you would do a search, it was broad match. So that meant anywhere, like if I had the term payday loan, that could be anywhere in the sentence, and with broad match, it was allowed, and it would come up as a monthly search. Well, now it has to be exactly payday loans, and if it's not going to count. So in a way, this is more accurate data, because it's telling me if I target this specific keyword, this is how many searches I'm going to get for it.
Yeah, and across all devices means mobile as well.
Mobile, tablets, and desktop.
Perfect. Good. And I think, Jim, I hope that that answers your question. But what I'm going to tie into that, Russell, is, so now we're looking at exact match. And so, how much is enough? And what's the number that you should look for? Is there a minimal monthly searches for a particular traffic type, or are you good with anything if there's, no searches, 10 searches? And what if something comes up in Google Suggest and doesn't have any volume in the Google Planner?
Yeah, I mean, I won't go after anything that has like in the hundreds. I mean, I have to start seeing things in the thousands to be, convinced. I mean, the low thousands are still kind of scary. I mean, like this one right here, I would consider it okay, 4,290. I mean, I'll target that. I mean, obviously it's being searched some. I'm not going to pick something in the hundreds, obviously. If I pick something in the Google Suggest tool tells me, hey, this one's a good one, but I see like 17 searches, I just get rid of it immediately, because it's not really worth, targeting or even your time to mess with it if there's only that many searches. That's my opinion. Some people may say, well, I target every last thing, and if I pay only X amount for it and I still convert those 18 per month, then it was well worth it. And people do have different ways of looking at that. I mean, like I just look at it as I'm going to go after the volume. That's the only way I look at it, is I'm going to go after the volume. So I would say anything 1,000 and up, I would go after personally for search. Anything below 1,000, I don't mess with it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm the sort that you you mentioned a second ago. I like to go for the niche down stuff, for the long tail, and I'm not going to go for something that has like less than 500 if I'm doing paid search, or really less than 1,000. But at the same time, something small like that, no fax payday, I know exactly what my ad is going to say, right?
I mean, yeah, you sure do.
I know what's going to convert. So yeah. All right, so I'll let you keep going. I know I'm slowing you down here. So
no, don't worry about it. That's cool stuff. No, that you're right, and it's funny that you said you're the kind to do that, because I figured, well, Leanne is a little more detailed than I am, so I know that she would do that. Because I don't know why I don't, but I would do the no fax because it's over 4,000. But you're right. I knew you would probably do that, but it is good to, I guess, to keep all your options open and bid on everything if you really want to see what you can do with certain traffic. So we talked about the Keyword Samurai, or the Market Samurai. You can go and get like a free trial version of it. I would encourage everybody to do that. I think it's like a 7-day trial. I think it still costs $97. I'll tell you honestly, if there was only one paid tool in my arsenal, and in large part, other than like when I did SC Nuke for my SEO campaigns back in the day, I would say that this is the one that actually has gotten its value for me, is Market Samurai. I use it on every single project that I've ever done for a client. So that being said, definitely check it out. Try the free trial download. You'll fall in love with it when you're doing keyword research. You'll always want it. It's got great stuff in it. So that's one of the paid tools. The other one, which I had not personally used, but I've wanted to use it for a long time, but it does cost a little to use it, is Keyword Spy. And I'll just do a quick, since we're on payday loans, I'll just do a quick one for you. You can search, I'm going to do search keywords, since we're doing keyword research. We'll do it like this, okay? And so kind of shows us some pretty interesting data as well. Shows us search volume, 1.8 million a month. It shows you there are 90 PPC advertisers. That's pretty cool, huh? Shows you ads. Look at this. Boom. The ads are right there. So if I want to see what these ads are doing, how many days they've been showing these, when they were last and first seen, I have a whole page, and this is free, by the way. I didn't pay for this. I typed that in and I got this information. When I saw this last night, I was like, I got to show everybody this. So, you got related, if you wanted related keywords, you got similar. There's that facts again. It's got to be something to that. Misspellings. Misspellings are good for mobile. Like if you're doing anything on a mobile, look at this spelling right here. It gets 1 million a month. Payday loans, just with a space in it. That's just fat thumb syndrome right there. So these are the kind of things for mobile that you want to be targeting. A lot of people are like, I can't get any volume on mobile. Well, target these misspellings and so on and so forth, and you'll have all the volume you want and need. Tells you who your PPC competitors are, if you really want to get into that as well. It's really a pretty powerful tool. I'm going to be quite honest. I mean, Western Sky, we all know that we've seen that commercial. Merchant Cash Group, Cash Advance, I think that's a company. CashNet USA. It tells you who your competitors are. So it's a perfect kind of bridge to our competitive analysis too. I mean, I know we're talking about keywords, but it's a perfect bridge to competitive analysis. Now, before we move on to the competitive analysis, Leanne and Mason, are there any more questions kind of about the keyword research? I know I went through a lot there, so I just want to cover that before I get into competitive analysis. Nothing? Okay.
No.
Yeah,
okay.
nothing in the queue, and I don't have anything.
Good. Okay, well, then let's do this. Let's start talking a little bit about competitive analysis. So obviously, we've already established that we're doing the payday loans thing. So I have a Google search box open here where I actually did a search for payday loans. And what I'm doing here is I'm seeing who my competitors are. And you see Cash Advance up there. They have paid ads, Cash Corner, QuickerCash.com, 24/7 Loan, Better Loan Choice. I'm just going to pick one of these. I'm not going to pick on anybody. Let's just pick Advance America and click on their ad. Sorry, guys. So there it is. Okay. And so I get this Advance America page. Now, something really cool, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but something that I like to do is I like to right click on the page and go down here where it says View Page Source, and it pops up their HTML. And right here, I like seeing what keywords they're trying to rank for. So I see right away they're going for payday loan, cash advance, payday advance, quick cash loan, money online, fast money, Advance America, and lender. Okay, so that tells me right now that these keywords are important to my competitors. So in a way, I'm kind of sniping them, saying, hey, I'm doing this competitive research, competitive analysis. I see that my competitors are going after this keyword. I'll put that into my keyword list, okay? And I'll go after those same terms that they're going after, because if it's working for them and they've set the bar, I know this company's been around forever. I mean, I can't remember where I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure they're on every street corner in cities. So I'm pretty well going to go after these keywords right here.
So Russell, this is again, sorry, my gears are just turning whenever we do keyword research. One of my favorite topics as well. And you've got Advance America, which is the name of the company. And a lot of people would just discard that term and say, well, it doesn't apply to me because I'm not that company. But that is such a perfect perfect pitch angle, because if there are a lot of searches for them, in Michigan, I guess you're saying they're on every street corner. If people are actually searching them online and there's enough of a volume, I mean, your entire campaign could be all about why you should go to your CPA offer versus Advance America. You don't need to walk in, you can do it online, blah, 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 whatever it is. And so that's such an important keyword in there that I think many people would just overlook that. They would just say, well, it's not me. But I just wanted to point that out because I get all excited about keywords.
That's totally true. I mean, you want to look and really, going back to the Google search and just to prove a point about how crazy of a thing this is right now and why I picked payday loans. And I don't mind if you guys come and visit me. I'll show you right where. If I do my city right here, watch this. Okay, and it looks like we have, starting down here in the local box, looks like we got quite a few here in my town, and I live in like a medium-sized city. It looks like we have, and I'll tell you what the radius is on this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places in a, let's see, this would be about a 3-mile radius, I'm going to say, is where this stuff would be, kind of like just a small radius in town. We have that many of them. So it's so prevalent now, and you saw the trends inside of Google. And I just wanted to make that point that, yeah, it's very prevalent in our area. And I think it's really prevalent across the U.S. I mean, everybody probably has at least one in their town, if it's even a small town, so just wanted to bring that up. So the point Leanne made is definitely target the names of those businesses because people may know those or remember seeing those. So as long as it's not prohibited by the offer you're running, by all means, you can target that. If they say you can't, bid on our name, well, you can't bid on their name then. But other than that, you're safe to do that. Now, time to come down to the last two here that I use, which are SpyFu and QuantCast. SpyFu is a lot like we got into with keyword research, but they do some pretty cool things. I have subscribed to this one before. Once again, it's like $79 a month, but when I've had some pretty big clients like mortgage companies and stuff, I wanted the competitive intelligence. So I would find out who their competitors were, and I would put in their domain and go after it. So let's check out this domain again, advanceamerica.net. Okay, so if I do this, www.advanceamerica.net, and then search, what this comes up with. And this is just what it's going to show me for free. So these guys are spending about $3,800 to $10,860 a day, which it's came down quite a bit since 11. It looks like 1 month they were up to like $18,000 in spend. That was their budget range that month back in August of 11. And this tells you historically over time too what they've been spending. So you can see when it's came down like this, but now it's you can see it's pretty hot. It's came back up. So that tells you where they're sitting. See, they're at like position 8 to 21, and they don't even care, probably because they're getting it. They're getting a ton of organic clicks. I mean, they're getting about 1,200 clicks a day paid, which is good if you're converting, and 3,000 via organic. So they've spent some time on their SEO. This shows me top ads over time, which is really pretty awesome. Tells me the position that they're in, whole 9 yards. I mean, this is, like, once again, one of the top tools out there. I mean, if you had Keyword Spy and this, I can't imagine that, if you're doing a paid project or, for a client or, doing SEO, I can't imagine any better tool than this. So I just wanted to, quickly go through it so you had the resource. Now, since we're doing, this one right here, we're doing advanceamerica.net. I want to go to this last tool. So there's a little bit of time left for Mason to talk here. And QuantCast is for competitive analysis is more like, who is my avatar? Who is my, target customer? What's their demographic? Who are they? That's what this is. So if I go right here, cash what was that again? Cash America or something? Advance America, is that what it is? AdvanceAmerica.net. Okay. AdvanceAmerica.net. And I put this in and do a search. It's going to come back. Well, this one didn't seem to bring anything back for us. Let's go back here and try another one. Cashadvance.com, maybe. Do a search here for cashadvance.com. For some reason, I am not getting anything to show up here. Okay, let's see. Okay. So now it's going to show me some based on the keywords. So that's fine with me. Let's pick. Okay, I like these that show me my reach and stuff. Let's just take this top one, grandcashadvance.com. Okay, and let's look at the report that they come up with for that. So it says the publisher has not implemented Quantcast measurement and data is estimated. That's fine. If you want to use this for your site, there is a snippet of code when you sign up with Quantcast. It's free, but you get a snippet of code and you just leave it on there. And like after 3 to 6 months, it gives you some pretty nice readings. It tells you, first of all, what the rank is of the site. It tells you, visits and stuff like that, which is good and nice. Unfortunately, now it's looking like they're not giving out demographics data until people are quantified, which means they're putting the code on there. So in order to see this, I may have to use something more popular, like Google. So U.S. ranked number 1, 191 million people. Is it going to give me? No, because it's not quantified. Basically, if I come up with a site that's quantified, it's going to show me the demographic data. Right over here, I have traffic, and then I have lifestyle, which, okay, here we go. Check this out. This is what I'm talking about with targeting. It shows you the interests of people that go to Google, okay? And Google may be a little skewed because people that go to Google are looking for information, but it shows what they have an affinity towards. So if I pick something instead, like let's say I'm in the guitar niche, okay, instead, and let's just do something like guitarcenter.com. I know I'm getting off topic a little, but I really want to show you this. Okay, so now it's ranked 1240, and I have this information here. And now what I want to see here is no demographic data because they haven't quantified their site. But if I go to lifestyle, now I can see that people that are interested in guitars are also interested in consumer electronics, makes sense, music and radio, and auto news and info, and they have this much of an affinity, meaning when somebody comes to this site, they're dropping a cookie, and when they leave that site, this is the type of site they're going to. So it shows how many more times they have the affinity of these kind of things. So if I'm marketing, CPA or affiliate products, and I'm marketing guitars or guitar instructional material or amplifiers, I may also turn around and market consumer electronics like mobile phones or home stereo systems, sound bars, video game systems, satellite radios, this kind of stuff.
And Russell, the other way, the opposite way to look at this is when you're trying to find more traffic for, let's say, a PPV campaign, or for a web campaign where you're doing banners, right, a display campaign, you can go and look for sites in similar sites that the audience likes that aren't exactly a guitar site, but are something that they like as well. So for example, if I have an offer in the guitar niche, and I've got it running on guitar sites and it's doing great, and I want to get more traffic to it because I want to make more money, I might go to music and radio sites. I'm going to look up music and radio sites and I'm going to try it there. And then I'm going to slowly expand to get more traffic, and I'm going to put my banner everywhere. And same thing for PPV. When I'm doing, popping up an ad, I'm going to slowly start to diversify. And maybe right now I'm really niche down to just guitar sites, but now I want to see, can I also get more traffic and therefore make more money every day by going to, stepping back and going into the music site, not just a guitar site, but a general music site.
Yeah, absolutely. You're totally correct about that. Now, Leanna Mason, let me ask you this. I didn't mean to use up an hour of time. It's just something I'm passionate about, this topic. How many people would be upset, and Leanna Mason, answer this question to me. I know we're on a live call here, but how many people's feelings would it hurt if we did another week on this stuff and recorded another section just on the PPV stuff?
We can. I mean, mine's actually not very long.
Okay, then is it okay if we keep going then, Leanne? I'm fine with
definitely,
that. I'll
definitely.
Just mute myself okay, then let me turn it over. Yeah, let me turn it over to Mason then, and we'll do that.
All right.
Okay, so I turned it over to Mason.
All right. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of one of the reasons why I didn't want to wait is because while this is fresh on your mind, I'm going to show you something here that goes along with what Steve was talking about. So one of the things that I do that I wanted to point out here really fast. So he did a good job showing you how to get these seed keywords and everything like that. So just a couple of things to keep in mind that that I find helpful, just to keep it all organized and everything like that, so you can remember where you're at in the process. And I don't know, I'm just a freak about that kind of stuff. So identifying those seed keywords. Now, one of the ways that I identify a seed keyword is, what is the shortest keyword in terms of length that would still be considered targeted. So if we took payday loan, which is obviously a huge seed keyword, which is its own market pretty much, and you took loan just by itself, ask yourself the question, is loan targeted enough by itself to this market? And the answer is no. And then is payday, is that targeted enough to this market? Yes and no, but mostly no. I mean, a lot of times people will just type in payday and stuff like that, but that's very broad and you'll lose a lot of money doing that. So we want to keep the keywords as short as we can, and then and still be targeted to our market. And then from there, one of the things that I do is I'll take it, put it in a spreadsheet like this. And so we identified some like, so I wouldn't put like payday loan, no facts up here, because this is what we're going to use to plug into the tool to get the long tail variations of that. And then just kind of keep it organized by vertical. So you can see here that these are all synonyms, which is one of the main ways that keywords are related to each other in any given market, is that they're synonyms of one another. You can use a thesaurus for that kind of stuff, or a dictionary as well, to get synonyms and other ways that people might look for stuff. But one of the things I like to do, as you can, I'll show you here on Keyword Spy, which he showed you briefly earlier, is on this related tab right here. What this is basically, this will save you a ton of time in trying to identify those lateral keywords in your market that may be synonyms, especially if you're not familiar with the market. Then it saves you a lot of time so that you can understand what all the other advertisers in the space are using. So we don't want all of these, right, for our seed keyword list, like this one, payday loan online. That's a long tail, so I'm not interested in that right now. All I'm doing is scanning this list and looking for more seed keywords. So we have cash advance, Okay, fast cash loans is too broad because that could be all different kinds of loans, and we're looking for a specific type of loan. Otherwise, it would be untargeted, in my opinion. Short-term loan, maybe. Now, I have a lot of experience in payday loan, as some of you guys may know, but I happen to know that that's not really as targeted either, because there's other types of loan products that could be short-term loans that banks may offer and things, and people that are looking for payday loans are looking for they're looking for that quick $500 to their account, same day or next day. So we'll just go through here and just to give you a couple more examples. Easy cash, no. Okay, I'm not seeing any more. Just let's go to the second page. Okay, so here's one thing I want to show you. So personal loans. So let's go ahead and put that here. And we can keep going. I mean, I could get 50 of these. But let's look at personal loans. Now, I didn't take the whole phrase from there. I just took those two keywords that are the essential keywords of the phrase, even though that's not what it came up with. So let's take personal loans now, and the question is, is a personal loan and a payday loan the same thing? Well, one thing that you can do is you come back here and just put personal loan in there. And you can do this if you don't have an account. And you can use the free version like Steve showed a minute ago, but it'll pull up some results. This is a paid account, so it's pulling up thousands of them. But so let's look at the people that are running on personal loans, and let's see if that's our competitors. So one of the things is when you're working with a client or you're working with an offer, it helps to kind of know who their competitors are in the space as well. I always ask people, when I start a new project for a client, I always ask them who they think their competitors are, because sometimes there's nuances in the offer and different things on the back end that you don't know about. We can find people who are advertising on similar keywords, but we can't always tell right away if that's really a direct competitor of these people. And they'll, if you're working with a client, they'll be able to list 5 or 10 of them right off the top of their head. They know that stuff, so no reason to waste time on it. But okay, so the question is, are people advertising payday loans on the term personal loans? And you can look at these, and maybe some people are, but the reality is a personal loan is different than a payday loan. So by looking at who's paying money to advertise and doing a little bit of research, reading the fine print on the offer, doing some analysis of the landing pages, actually understanding what it is that people are promoting, like Steve showed with it, just doing some Google searches and stuff like that. You can, you want to make sure that obviously when we get 1,000 keywords in here, we're not going to put them all in here and look at it. But for these main seed keywords that we're going to use to mine the rest of your keyword list, we want to make sure that those are actually what we're offering for sure, because that will cost you a lot of money to make that mistake. So personal loan is different, just so you know, but you wouldn't have normally known that if you were just browsing through here without looking at some people in the market to see if that's a relevant term to an offer similar to the one that you're going to promote.
Now, Mason, that makes sense. Mason, what about, yes. They had the term emergency cash, and I noticed you skipped over that one.
Yeah, emergency cash would not, for this stage, that might be something I'd try later if I was really drilling down on these guys. So we could take, plain green loans. We can click on the link there, and it'll pull up all their keywords. If I see a lot of people spending on it, then I might try to run it. But it really, emergency cash, it could have some other connotations to it, but I happen to know that the emergency angle doesn't work for payday that well. Whenever we ran ads for emergency stuff in our ad copy, our conversions, our CTR was good, but our conversions were consistently bad every time we tried. So I just know that from experience. That's probably why I skipped over it. But so an unsecured loan, there's other types of unsecured loans as well. So a payday loan would be a specific type of an unsecured loan. So the way that would break down would be, I would put that up a level from these guys. So these guys are really more targeted to what we're offering here. But if we had something like unsecured loan, I put that up there to show that these are one level deeper, but they're not really a long tail of it. These are certain types. Payday loan is a certain type of an unsecured loan. There could be other types as well. So we're just going to focus on those because that one is, even though it's still a 2-keyword phrase, it's more broad. And one other thing I want you to think about is just that. So when you're advertising something, let's take like a car. So there's lots of different types of cars that don't contain the word car, right? That are very short in length, but I would consider them long tail, like brands, maybe. SUV would be a type of a car. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct synonym of your C keyword or a long tail of it to be a targeted term. So just remember that as well. That's just what one question to ask yourself is, what are some specific types of X? And sometimes you can get into some sub niches and things that that you wouldn't normally find just searching around. So with that being said, we want to identify our seeds first. I'm not going to use that one. To me, it's too broad. I want to start. Now, the key is, particularly what we're going to do next, which is actually really easy, so it's not going to take very long. Excuse me. Is so we're going to take these C keywords. You would normally want to have maybe 5 to start with for PPV. On Google, you could start with a lot more. And when Steve was showing the tool and it was breaking down the keywords by groups, each one of those groups would be long tails of these. If payday loan was one of the ad groups that it was recommending, all the keywords in that particular group that the Google tool brings up contain the words payday loan, which that makes them long tail. So basically the long tails under here would be anything that contain that, not necessarily even in the same order, but any of those more specific keywords. Any questions on that? Yeah, everybody good with that so far? Okay. Cool. Can you still hear me, Leanne?
Yeah, you're good,
Hello?
Mason. There's no questions coming up, so I just let you keep going.
Okay, sorry, I just thought I was talking to myself here. Okay, so one way to get those that's really quickly is all you have to do is come in here and so if we took this keyword and we wanted to get the long tails of this, let's say, which I wouldn't really start with that as a C, but just for an example, I would go to the similar tab on Keyword Spy and just export that and copy and paste it under here for that keyword. Boom, there's all your long tails. That's all the keywords that your competitors are using that contain that keyword phrase and all the variations that they're using as well. And then the second thing that you would do from there is go through that list and make sure that all of those are relevant to your offer. And that's kind of a pain. But the cool thing is if you group them this way, you'll already have your ad group set up and everything like that. So all those, you might want to in some cases break them down into smaller ad groups, but for the most part, if you mind them this way with, using the like a diagram format, then your ad groups are already there. So then you don't have to put the filter in Excel and then try to group them all together, which that's a different webinar on how to set up ad groups. But so the key thing is to get 3 to 5 words. So we're going to start with these 3, and you're going to see how easy this is. And this is why people like PPV a lot. And there's a couple of pitfalls, which I'll show you, that can waste a lot of your money. So if you come in here, this is something called CPV domination. Stack That Money has a URL scraper. There are quite a few URL scrapers out there on the market. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they all do pretty much the same thing, which is what they do is they just go to the search engine and type in your keyword for you, and then scrape all of your competitors off the page. So if we had a loan like that, then what it's doing, what the script does, is it just takes these links and copies them and pastes them, or just compiles them for you, basically. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing a pop-up window over somebody's page. And the way that we do that is by using something that they call targets, which are, our websites. I mean, there's some, you can do keyword targets on Traffic Advance and some other things, but right now we're going to be focused on URLs. It's going to scrape these URLs, so when someone hits one of these URLs that you're targeting in your target list, then your ad's going to pop up over their screen and be really annoying. And the way that it does that is that they have adware installed on their computer that they've agreed to. If you use some of the reputable traffic sources that we're going to show you, and when we get into the case study, all of that stuff's legal and everything, so you don't have to worry about it. I know adware's got kind of a bad connotation to it, but it's all legal above board. You can read the legal stuff if you want to, if you're worried about it, but it's fine. These guys have been around for a long time. So anyway, so that's what it does. You can do that manually if you don't have a tool, and that's fine, but it takes forever. So I'm going to take the first one. Now, you can put a bunch of them in here if you want to, but that stresses me out because then they're all mixed together, and then I don't know, where I've been or what I've done. So I take this first seed keyword, payday loan, and I'm gonna get Google, Bing, and Yahoo and the Google ads for that. And I'm gonna go. This says how many pages on the search engine do you want me to scrape? And I'm gonna probably start with about 3. You can do 2 if you want to. Just whatever, however much your testing budget is. The more you put in there, the more you have to spend. But so I'm gonna hit get URLs, and it's pulling the top URLs from the search engines from the first 3 pages. And the cool thing about these URLs is people who are ranked highly in SEO for seed keywords like this tend to get a lot of traffic. So, because that's how they're getting traffic, is obviously from Google. And if they're ranked up there near the top for a very high traffic keyword phrase, then those guys are probably getting traffic. So I'm just gonna take this one and I'm gonna hit add to basket, and then I'm gonna export this. Oh no, it didn't work. Hold on, I did this before. Hold on. Okay, 3 pages. Actually, I'm only going to do 1 page just so we can get through this much faster. So I'm going to do 1 page to get less of them, and then I can select the ones that I want to export. Now, the thing to remember is if we're doing, I'll show you that in a second. We'll just take all of them, add them to the basket. Now I'm going to export those. Actually, I'm going to select them all, and what I'm going to do is this has the option to simply strip the variation or the actual specific page off the end of the link and just give you the root URL. And sometimes we want to do that, and sometimes if you do that, it's going to burn through all of your money in 5 minutes, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'm gonna copy all of them over to Excel just so I can work with it a little. Actually, no, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. I'm going to do the long tail URLs. Sorry. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is, so I keep this organized. So my first seed keyword is here, right? And I would normally do a couple of more pages, so there's more of them, but it takes a little longer to clean them up. Okay, so here's all the here's all the URLs that we have for this first one, and I'm going to make that one ad group or one campaign in the traffic source as well. So all of these are because what this does is it allows you to keep track of how you're adding targets. Because what's going to happen is the campaign's working and you want to add more targets, and you don't know what how you got your targets. If you just throw a bunch of keywords in there and export 10,000 of them, I mean, you can't even keep track of that. So we want to be able to expand these and scale these methodically. Now, there's other ways outside of just keywords that we can get URLs from QuantCast. There's things that scrape QuantCast and stuff, and we're not going to worry about that until the campaign's already running. We're just going to take these sites that are obviously related, or Google thinks they are, to Payday Loan, and Google has a good algorithm for that, and then also get traffic because they show up in the search engine results. Because we can find all kinds of oddball domains that get like zero traffic, or and it's a big waste of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually go through this list before I add these to my campaign, and this is really the last step, besides the campaign setup part, which we'll show you in another webinar. But for this one, so ask yourself the question: do I want the root domain or do I want the long tail page domain? So do I want Wikipedia with no specification of what article it is? Obviously that's going to get, tons of traffic, and 99.9% of it is not going to be related to payday loans. So we want to keep that. That page on there because that's a huge authority site. And we don't want to bid on that. Like same thing with like YouTube, or one time I accidentally had google.com in my campaign, and obviously that didn't convert and it cost me a lot of money. So you can overlook that, and so that's what I put on my slide here. Take your top 3 to 5 C keywords, put them in columns, harvest the first couple of pages of the search engines, clean the list, and then clean the list again, and then stick them in the campaign. Which we'll show you later, but I put clean the list again because one high traffic target that's untargeted will cost you your entire testing budget in a matter of minutes. So I don't know how much I can emphasize that, but okay. So this one here, we'll keep these like the FTC.gov. Obviously, there's tons of content on that site that have nothing to do with payday loans, so we're going to keep the page there. This one, checkingthecash.com, now that looks like a competitor, right? Which it is in Tennessee anyway. So I'm going to simply, I'd probably copy them over and then use text to column to separate the URL off. We can do that later, but this one I'm not going to, just for the case study here, I'm not going to I'm not going to make it give me a specific page. Okay, you see it's here again because they had 2 pages on their site listed on the search results. That's okay, don't worry about it because we can remove the duplicates later.
And Mason,
so easy money.
Just real quick, for people watching, in case they're going, oh my gosh, how do you know all this stuff? Well, you can just plug the URL into Google into your browser, not into Google. Plug the URL into your browser and see what the page looks like, because you're not going to know all this stuff. And, Mason has a lot of experience in this, so I'm sure he's seen these multiple times and he can look at it and say, okay, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. But if you're brand new to the niche, pull up every single site and take time to do this. Because otherwise you might regret it later when you look at your statistics and you say, why did this site just give me 100,000 views today and no conversions?
Right, exactly. One other thing to pay attention to is see this one right here. it has all this tracking code and stuff at the end. We don't want to put their tracking code into our target list. So let's say this was, so this is the apply page on the site. Let's say, I mean, I would use this whole site because that's a competitor, and we always want competitors for a PPV. So that's the main thing we're actually looking for the most part. But right here, let's say we wanted to do just the apply page, then we can just strip off all their tracking stuff. Same thing with this one, Why Choose Us. Get rid of that. Okay, this is like some redirect URL, probably a site that got hacked. That's what it looks like. So this one, let's say we'll take that site. Just get rid of that. So basically, you're just looking for high traffic, untargeted domains that, like about.com or any authority site that you need that specific page on the site in order to be targeted. Otherwise, if it's a competitor or a long tail site or like a site that's specifically about this niche or whatever, then you just want the whole site. And then what it'll do is it'll match you with any page on that site, regardless of where they go, because every page on the site is about payday loans, so that's fine. And one thing you can do later is if you find a site that's converting really well, you can scrape that site and get all of the long tail URLs from that site to possibly pick up a little bit cheaper traffic that other people have missed. Because it counts everything as a separate target. So if I put, something on that, the system counts that as a separate target. So it has its own bidding and everything for every page on the site. So that's fine. But we'll go over that later. But that's the main thing. So we would do that with all of our main seed keywords. So if we wanted to start testing, we would need, I would pick 20 or 30 targets for my top 3 seed keywords or so, depending on what the traffic volume is for that and how big the niche is. If the niche is like really small, you might need more to get enough traffic, and that's okay because then you can just go in and add more later. It's not a big deal, but that's basically the process. This is probably this is probably the most targeted and easiest way to get targets. You have to do a little keyword research first, but you really only need those seed keywords to start with, and then we just scrape, and then that's it. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. So, yeah, I wanted to hop in here, and first of all, I want to thank both Russell and Mason for their time and for the preparation in this for you guys. And I gotta say this, I learned a lot in this webinar, and those of you who are watching and maybe got a little bit lost when Russell was talking, maybe got really lost when Mason was talking, that's totally normal. And this stuff, I mean, there's no other way to really teach this. But what you're going to see is you're going to come back to this webinar. This is going to be like your go-to webinar. You're going to watch this 5, 6, 7 times and over again. And, maybe you'll watch it again when I post the recording on the forum. And then after the next few lessons, you'll come back to this one and watch it again and do that. And don't feel like, oh, there's something wrong with me if I have to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again, because there's so much good information in here, and it's so packed, it's so dense that you have probably missed 90% of what was shared. And I'm not saying that to say that, there's something wrong with you or anything, because there's not. It's just there's so much here. And, I know especially with Mason, he's like, I don't know where all this information is stored in his head, but feel free to listen to the webinar over and over and over again. And again, like I said, after you get some of the next parts, when we show you how to actually put together campaigns, and you're going to start to get a better understanding of what we're actually doing with this, come back to this, and it's going to make that much more sense. And we've got a question here from Adam. Are there any other URL scrapers? It says he says CPV combination not allowing him to sign up.
Yeah. let's see.
And I mean, you can just Google it. You can just Google URL scraper, and you'll probably find something or several things.
And here's one.
And now we're only seeing your Excel spreadsheet, Mason.
Oops. I just went to Google and searched for it, and I got this, which appears to be free. And yeah, when it says truncate or whatever, what that's going to do is it's going to chop off those long tail pages. And what you're going to miss, if you can do that, what's going to happen is you're going to miss those authority sites with the targeted specific pages about your niche, because it's, it would just truncate Wikipedia, and then you would just have wikipedia.com. And then if you just stuck that in your campaign, you're going to get killed. So let me just see if this one works real fast.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam's saying, is there a specific one that you use other than that one? But I think it, as long as it works, it really doesn't matter, because it's doing the same thing. It's not a complicated tool.
Yeah, see this right here? This one works just fine. MagicURLscraper.com. There you go. It's free. There's more out there too. I've used the Stack the Money one. I used to use that site. What was it? Site. I can't remember what it was called. It's gone now. But and then also the the CPV domination. They're all basically the same. This one I think only does Google, so you might be able to find one that scrapes Bing too for free. I mean, it's an easy little script, and there's nothing to it.
Yeah, and Adam, all you got to do is search on Google. I mean, for something simple like that, Bing URL scraper, and you'll probably find several results.
You'll find stuff out there. It's easy.
Did we lose you, Mason? Okay, muted. Got it. Okay, so
no, I'm here. Yeah, they're out there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's not really like there's. Yeah, you're welcome, Adam. It's not really like whatever tools we show you are the best ones. I know a lot of tools Russell showed today were pretty awesome and great to use. We really try to show you a lot of the free stuff. If you really like something, you get a lot of use out of it. You can upgrade like Mason did with I think it was Keyword Spy. And really, these webinars are not here to sell you stuff, right? We're trying to show you the best ways to do things, and we're going to show you what tools we use. So just to summarize, today we did keyword and market research, and we did research both for pay-per-click and for pay-per-click type campaigns, and also for display type campaigns, though that wasn't a focus, and also scraping URLs for PPV. And we're going to show you all those things in this course. We want this to be a really detailed, but also thorough in terms of all the different ways that you can get traffic, because I know you guys have different things that you like to do, different types of traffic that you want to run. And we're doing a lot of, we're going to be showing you some case studies in these. And we would love for you to go in and start to practice this stuff. So go back to, if you're really brand new to this and this is kind of over your head, go back to the first webinar and watch it again. Go back to the second webinar and watch that one more time, and get a sense for how we pick offers again. And then come back to this one and just follow along. I mean, literally have two windows open. Have the webinar open on one window and have another window where you're just following along and taking the actions with your fingertips on the keyboard and with your mouse. And you're going to learn a lot just by doing that. And you'll pause the video and see see what happens here. You'll come up with more questions, post them in the thread in the private forum, and you are going to learn so much. And I was not kidding when I said watch this over and over and over again. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said that. Watch it over again, practice with it, and try it yourself.
One thing I want to say about this is I think what happens is a lot of people, when they sign up for courses and things like that, especially when they're new, is, they're expecting this, use this tool, do this, plug in this thing, and go through this defined set of steps, and you'll make money. And the reality is, we can show you how we do it, which will save you a ton of time. But the key thing to get is, what is it that we're doing and why? How does the traffic source work? Why are we getting these URLs? If you can't answer those questions, then you're going to be confused. So make sure you understand the what and the why. And then, if you have another idea later on, when you get some, more experience under your belt, just then you may have a different idea or find a different way of doing something. And don't think, I'm not going to try that because he didn't talk about it on the webinar. You should, if you have an idea, run with it. That's the people with ideas are the ones that make money.
Right. So awesome. Well, we've gone a little bit over, but hopefully everyone appreciates that. Us coaches definitely appreciate your attendance on the webinar, and we appreciate you in the forum as well. So this is a good time to start a case study, to start a follow along. Even if you're brand new, and especially if you're brand new, hop in the forum and go to the case study tournaments, hop into the October section, and you can follow along with us. You can do payday loans with us, or you can do something totally different, anything that interests you. And start with what we've shown you. And follow along, but do it yourself and show us how you're doing it, and be transparent. And we're going to help you along, and you're going to learn a ton. I mean, one of the other things about paid courses that, people, they expect the, hit this red button and everything, your computer will start spitting out cash. We're not going to do that to you, because you're intelligent people, and we want you to be able to use that intelligence to make money, and to, like Mason said, to really understand why you're doing what you're doing. And so the only way to do that is to practice and to fail. You need to fail. You need to make a lot of mistakes. And so I'm inviting you today to go on the forum. And even if your first post just says, I'm going to do a follow along case study in this niche, in payday loans or in something else, and I'm going to do it with pay-per-view traffic, or I'm going to do it with mobile traffic, or I'm going to do it with whatever kind of traffic, doesn't matter. We're going to start helping you get started. And then once you take action, and once you fail a few times and we kind of redirect you in the right direction, you're going to learn more than any of the other courses out there. And that is, guys, that is the power of this course combined with the forum, is that we've got your back. We really do. We've got your back. And at the end of this course, if you do that, if you take action, and especially if you post that action in the forum, it doesn't matter if you win the $5,000 or the $1,500 for second place. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're going to learn a ton, and you're probably going to be able to make that money on your own. No guarantees, right? I can't guarantee that anyone's going to do anything, because I don't know how much action you're going to take. But if you take action on this and you fail forward.
I'll say one other thing too, Leanne, real fast, because some of these steps here, like what I just did, especially if you're using this magic URL scraper. So pick a niche, go in there, find some seed keywords, and scrape some targets using the process that I showed you, and put that in the forum, even if you're not going to run it. If you're not comfortable spending money on it, or you want someone to tell you if they have some suggestions on, if you're going to, if you're missing something, or just any feedback, then just do this part. It doesn't cost you anything, and post that up there, and then everybody can learn from it too.
Yeah, well, especially including yourself. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. And Adam says, well worth the extra time, coaches. Thank you very much. You're so welcome, Adam. And we're glad to be here. So I'm going to cut it off now. I want to thank Mason and Russell for the amazing content. And guys, we're going to see you on next week's webinar. Really looking forward to it. And we'll see you guys then.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.